Welcome back to Two Bros 5 Feet Apart podcast. I'm Renee.
I'm Casper. And today we have a special guest. Here's our special guest. Howdy.
Hello.
Our special guest here tonight, Chaos.
That is my name. Acid Bath Princess of the Darkness.
Where can you find you, Chaos?
Where you look.
I'm sorry, that triggered something within me.
I mean, Happy New Year's 2008.
I fully stand Raven.
She's... Honestly, I'm more of a tarot person myself, but...
If anyone listens to this podcast and doesn't immediately laugh at that, they're no longer allowed to watch this podcast. Listen to the podcast.
They're on the wrong side of the internet.
So in today's episode, we're exploring the paranormal
At Jefferson Park, which is supposedly haunted.
And as a paranormal person myself, I will be rambling about multiple true stories of paranormal things.
Yes. Chaos is our first guest, and Casper and I would love to have more guests appear in our podcast. What topics we'll have, no idea in the future. We're making the topics up as we go.
Also, if you know us personally and perhaps want to guest and have a topic that you really want to talk about,
You'll have to find me.
Instagram or just Instagram. DM us on Instagram at 2 Bros 5 Feet Apart and share your idea.
So where are we now, Casper? Where are we for today's episode?
We are at Jefferson Park, right? I believe.
Yes.
Supposedly
Arizona.
haunted.
Supposedly haunted. A lot of people claim to see this woman walking around late night into the hour. But so far, there's just kids around with their parents.
Let it be known it is 7:30. So still prime kid hour, sadly.
I mean, this Little League game is pretty scary, I'd say. I'm on the edge of my seat.
It is Friday.
Oh, yeah.
They were screaming though. Mad. If you hear any screams, it could be demons, it could be Little League people. So
We'll never know.
Who's to say?
what's to say?
So what's the reason we're here for, Casper?
We're talking about spooky, megalamooky, paranormal activity things.
Gabagools.
How do you, our guests, how do you feel about the paranormal? Do you believe?
Sometimes.
Elaborate on the sometimes, please.
Sometimes I think it's fun, and I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. I think it's funny. If it exists, I think it would be funny. But sometimes little things happen, or I see something, or I think really hard about like situations that I've been in, and I'm like, it would make a lot more sense if it was a ghost, you know?
So the opposite of what people normally do, you kind of use paranormal to explain it. Because people experience paranormal things, they're like, it was probably the wind. But you're like, that was maybe a ghost.
I'm like, oh no, it's totally normal. And then later, like, you know what? It could have been a ghost.
Could have been a ghost. Do you subscribe yourself to like scary movies, like horror paranormal movies?
Yes, I love horror. I love scary things. It's my favorite thing in the world. I've always loved it. I don't know, everything about it is so fun. I love gore. I love ghosts.
Do you have a favorite paranormal movie? Make a plug real quick.
I don't remember what it's called. That's really unfortunate. I don't watch a lot of paranormal horror movies. It was like this girl, and she's like alone. She's a cop, and she's alone in this like hospital or something. And then she starts seeing stuff. She's like going crazy the whole night.
It's like a night shift or like 12-hour something.
Yeah. It's more of like a psychological horror thing, but I think all paranormal is psychological horror.
Real talk.
I think I kind of stray away from paranormal horror movies because it's usually just like a straight couple and then some random guy being like, actually you're crazy. Like the whole movie. And like if I want to get gaslit by men, I'd go outside, you know?
I call him Bumble.
Exactly.
This
like
is-
I don't need to see that in a movie.
It's the Okie Spooky.
I tried so hard to look up creepy things for today. I tried to purposely find things that would scare me, but I mostly got distracted and not paid attention to it.
Did you want to like put yourself in like a mood, like shit gets
Yeah,
scary?
I wanted to like be ready for this, like have myself paranoid for this podcast.
Just go to work.
I was looking forward to go to work because of it.
For those of you who don't know, we work in an overnight dog hotel, and we are alone for several hours locked in a building, and sometimes it gets spooky. We hear noises, all sorts of movement happening in the ceilings, the walls, the store. None of it being the animals. Anyways.
I have been alone in a house with only dogs for the past like week, so I think I'm already in that like hysteria mindset.
Did you hear any noises?
Yeah, the house was really, really loud in the middle of the night. Like there's normal like creaks and stuff, but it was just like, I don't know, it was like slamming, like, I don't know. It was really loud and it was terrifying. Like it was, like in a dead sleep I was jumping. Like that's
Ew.
how loud it was. It
That's-
sucked.
Did you ever get like the sensation that you were being watched in the house?
Yeah, there were a lot of windows. I mean,
Oof.
if I was in a horror movie, I would die first. The first thing I did when I got there, I opened all the windows. Like,
You said.
I opened the curtains and I opened the windows.
Here I am, ghost demons, everyone. I'm here. I'm queer.
I mean, it's like the equivalent of like having sex in the middle of like, or like at the beginning of a horror movie, or like going swimming or something. You know?
You're gonna get the Grudge crawling off the TV.
When I was a kid,
Please share.
my siblings were very mean, and they convinced me that if I watched TV alone for too long, that I would get sucked into the TV. And for years, I thought that we had another sibling that got sucked into the TV.
God.
that like they were sucked into the TV, and then everyone forgot about them because now they're like a TV character, like they're fictional, and it scared the
Like-
shit out of me.
Like
yeah.
the Truman Show.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
What, for people who may not know, that's not me, is the Truman Show?
Yeah. It's like this guy, I don't remember, he like gets kidnapped as a kid, and they put him in like a reality TV show, but he doesn't know that it's a reality TV show that's like constantly being live streamed. Like his entire life is a lie. Like everyone in his life is an actor, and he like lives in this little bubble, and then he starts figuring out like that something's wrong. Like there's ads in it. Like his wife will be like, "Wow, have you heard of this thing? It's so great." And he's like,
And it's
"Who are
very
you talking
obvious.
to?"
It's very
Yeah.
obvious. Yeah.
And then he like, there's like a radio situation where there's like, "Oh, he's turning onto the street. Have the camera look at this."
Your past sibling, who is no longer with us because of that
Mm-hmm.
TV reason, is experiencing a Truman Show.
Yeah, they're experiencing
Yeah.
their own.
That's what they're going through right now. They convinced you of that, though, your siblings?
Yeah, it didn't stop me from watching TV, but I was still scared of it. I was like, "Man, that's crazy." And then I would keep watching it.
How old were you when you like knew it was fake, that they lied to you? For how long was this in your mindset?
It was something that they slowly would like sprinkle in, like over years. I think it started when I could watch TV.
It's like a slow burn prank.
Yeah, like, oh, be careful, don't watch too much TV. And then over time, it was like they hinted at it.
Was there a character that you were like, yup, that's my sibling?
No, but I watched a lot of Disney Channel, and I was like, you know, it could be that. It could be them, you know?
Yeah.
It really freaked me out. Truman Show really freaked me out as a kid. I was so paranoid that everything was fake. But now I'm medicated, so it's fine.
Thank you for being honest and vulnerable on the podcast.
That's always good.
Gotta speak my truth.
So, can I explain the story of the woman at Jefferson Park?
Oh, absolutely.
So the legend goes behind the ghost of Jefferson Park is that she was sexually assaulted and then murdered in this park. A lot of people say she is most spotted between 11 a.m. through midnight from tree to tree, going tree to tree. I did research on this, seeing if there was any murder cases in this park, and it came up with nothing, and it was just people talking about the legend. There was a murder in 1989, but it was in an apartment nowhere near this park.
People have been murdered in other places.
People have been murdered in other places. That was the only thing I found when trying to find if anyone was murdered at this park.
You Googled, is Jefferson Park haunted? And they're like, here's about 17 hauntings not at the park.
So, I'm not sure if I'm really believing the stories people tell about them seeing ghosts, people crying, someone going tree to tree.
Do you believe in ghosts, period?
I really want to. I really want to believe in ghosts, but I don't think I ever had a paranormal experience happen to me besides like me just overthinking, and it could just been something else.
What about the one Ouija board thing that you told me about?
Oh, the Ouija board. So, I was at a party with my friends, and we were doing a Ouija board. There was one person there with us who was not trusted by the majority of the people playing the Ouija board. So when we were doing it, of course they were leading it, and they were known to lie. So they were making up this story saying how, oh, there's this person who died here, and they're like, oh, I know someone who named like Jacob. They're like, Jacob, is that you? And they're like, yes, it's me. Honestly, thinking about it now, it was so childish, and I'm surprised anyone believed that, because going back home, I did not believe that at all.
You should have made them get off the Ouija board and been like, we'll do this ourselves. You can watch.
I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't. I didn't want to be that person at the party.
That would be lame. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
Yeah, and I was the person that called people out. I was like, I know you're moving it. Stop.
We were assuming that too. We were like calling everyone out, but of course no one admitted actually doing it.
Yeah, I don't trust people to use Ouija boards. Like I want to see that it happen. I mean, it's made by Hasbro Games, so it's like, you know, but I want it to be real. But I don't trust anybody else to do it.
Because it's not safe to use it by yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's better to use with someone else.
Yeah.
But then when they use it, it's like when the remote goes missing, you don't trust anybody.
That's what I was thinking.
When you use that Ouija board, same thing as when the remote goes missing. No one's trusted.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to discuss the speaking of Hasbro Ouija boards? The one that we used?
Yes.
Go ahead with that.
Okay, this was a crazy story. We went to a location called the Domes. It's in Arizona. It's an abandoned place. It's like a domed area, like 3 buildings are domed shaped.
Yeah, I think it's actually in like indigenous like burial ground, maybe, sort of. Did not know that prior to going, of course. Don't quote me on that though. I think that could be wrong, but it's just domes and it's people.
When we were there, we were trying to find anything scary like, and we saw an Ouija board on the ground. A Stranger Things themed Ouija board. So right off the bat, Casper and I both were laughing about it. We're not believing it at all. We were like, this is hilarious. Why would anyone bring this one? And like, it just wasn't a serious moment.
Don't forget that we found it in the middle of a black spray painted pentagram with candles on each of the points.
Okay, you really glossed over the most important part. Oh yeah, there was this Ouija board. Also, there was a pentagram with candles. Like, what?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I completely forgot about that.
Did you forget?
I forgot about that. I didn't remember that.
I'm almost positive when we first got there, we stopped with the truck and we drove around because we saw people in there. Oh, and they left. I'm almost positive. Do you remember that happening?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And I'm pretty sure they were in there using that. So, the spray paint, the candles, the Hasbro Stranger Things Ouija board.
I wonder if anything actually happened. Because
they
nothing
filmed.
happened to us.
No, we used it and nothing happened to us. We tried.
We really tried. We tried multiple times. We were with 3 other people there, and they were terrified. They wouldn't even go inside the building we were in.
They wouldn't. They sat outside, just pure fear.
Fair enough.
That whole trip.
You should also explain the actual scary part of the trip.
Yeah, the part
That wasn't even paranormal.
The actual scary part that has nothing to do with paranormal activity. We went with our friend, and her ex-boyfriend at the time was very abusive, very like untrustworthy, and he didn't trust that for us to go with her, she had to tell him that we were gay, and we were gay lovers. So
I mean, are you not?
For the record,
We're not together.
only on Tuesdays, alternating,
With socks on.
5 feet apart. No, but so he didn't trust that, so he came down. He brought a gun.
He brought a shotgun.
He brought his rifle, and we had to act. I mean, we didn't like do anything crazy.
Things were tense.
But yeah.
There was tense, and we have no idea why he brought it. Because the whole point of going there was to just see spooky things, seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
Why would you bring a gun for a ghost?
The grudge climbs up the TV. He's like, bah.
So right off the bat, I automatically think he was using that for us.
Oh, absolutely, he was. He's like, if one of you don't act a little, then. But there's also a point where Renee had to use the bathroom, so like we walked off into the distance, you know. A lot of jokes going on there. I was like, oh, it's a great time. I'm like, one of us gets eaten out here in these wilderness.
I mean, the gay people always go first in horror movies.
They do.
I mean, if you're going off alone.
Yeah.
Boy.
Luckily,
You're not gay, so.
no
you're
gay,
good.
and also no sex, so we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. No paranormal activity there.
Didn't break any rules.
Because there wasn't actually, was there?
There was nothing.
We didn't experience anything.
No.
The Hasbro, your Ouija boards suck. I'll say it.
Get it together. Be more haunted.
Do better.
Come out with another Stranger Things themed for season 4.
Honestly.
Season 4. Do you have any paranormal stories?
Any Ouija board stories? Anyone coming at you with a rifle?
Any gay paranormal stories?
I mean, all my paranormal stories are automatically gay.
Oh.
I do
Explain.
have multiple. Because I'm gay. That was the whole joke.
Oh, I thought I thought the ghosts were gay, haunting you.
I mean, they could be. I didn't get the chance to ask, but I do have multiple paranormal stories. I want to say I was like 9 or 10. I was staying at my great grandma's house, which is the scariest place that I've ever been in. I don't know what it is. She has so many dolls. The room that I was sleeping in was just those ceramic dolls, you know, with like the weird, the curly.
Oh, God.
And they were all staring at me, and there was like those old like Raggedy Ann like stuffed animals, and there was like, I don't know, everything about that room was uncomfortable. And then it like had that like, I don't know, mothbally, mildewy old person smell, so it was like
Disgusting.
yeah, the vibes were rancid already. But my room was right next to the kitchen. It was like my room, and then like the entryway, and then the kitchen. And in the middle of the night, I don't know why I got up. I didn't need anything, but I got up, and then I heard like doors opening and closing, like cabinets, like, you know, opening and closing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a little odd. So my 4'11" self waltzes into the kitchen, and I see the fridge close, and then that's it.
And no one there.
Nobody there.
I think the first red
Everyone's
flag should have been the dolls.
Yeah.
I had to sleep in there because nobody else would. And I was like the youngest, so they were like, oh.
Oh, they just stuck you in there.
You
Yeah.
like dolls. You're young.
I never went into her bedroom because I don't have a death wish, but apparently above her bed, or not across from the bed, staring down at you, is this huge cross with the crucifix Jesus, and it was like super bloody, and it's like staring down at you. So I can't emphasize enough how scary her house was.
Wait. It was on the wall above her bed?
It was across from the bed looking down at you.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Who would do that? Why would that happen?
And it was also above a mirror. So you have to like, there's a mirror across from you while you're sleeping. So you sit up and then see yourself when you wake up.
So you see yourself, and then above the mirror is
Jesus
crying.
judging you. Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow. No, I personally would never go to your grandparents' house.
I would love to go there. I would love to do a video there.
Unfortunately, she died. So.
Oh. What happened to the dolls?
I don't know. They probably tossed them. But there was even like a whole basement situation. There was like all like cement, and it was echoey, and she was really old, so she had a lot of stuff. And she was a widow, so she had a lot of stuff and a lot of kids. So it was just boxes and boxes stacked up in the basement, and you couldn't really see anything. So if you heard something, you couldn't get out immediately because you have to go through like this maze of stuff. But again, rancid vibes down there.
Was it like the creepy basement stairs where it's like something could easily grab you from, like in movies, like the wooden staircase down?
It was one of those like really long, steep hallways with like the carpeted floors, and it's like narrow and white, and there's like one light, but it's really high up, you know?
Yeah, I would dare say that's worse.
And then it's like a sharp turn, so you go down the stairs, but you can't see what's there.
I wouldn't go down. I would never go down there. Did you go down there?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
It was carpeted stairs. I put socks on, and then I go whee, straight down.
Okay, that would be
It was
fun.
a great time. And everyone else was scared of it, so I could just hang out.
I'm picturing the demon downstairs watching you crawl on all fours back up the staircase.
I mean, I think the reason that the ghost left the kitchen was because I was so scary. Honestly.
Like, what is this 4'11" child haunting me for?
It was scary. There was like, I don't know. She had this like clothesline in there too that she had like wash rags hanging on.
Wow.
Her house couldn't be scarier, actually.
She dressed her house exactly like she was on like a horror movie.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, the way you're describing the room is exactly how they'll do in a horror movie, how a room would look.
She's like, I'm gonna have a movie made about me.
I mean,
I would love to see it.
She was very, very Catholic. We have a lot of
Oh my god.
We have a lot of really funny stories about her, but a lot of really, really crazy stuff happened to that family. I can't tell like specific stories because I don't remember it, but there is one story of her, and she was in bed, and she was taking a nap, and she kept hearing like whispering in her ear. That was like, my uncle was staying at the house, for context, and
I don't know if that helps, but go ahead.
There was like whispering in her ear that was like, you have to get him off the couch. What? Like, you have to move him off the couch now. And then she was like, and then went back to bed. And then it just kept happening. So she finally got up, and then she was like, hey, get off the couch right now. And then at that exact moment, the light fixture above the couch, it was like a chandelier situation, crystal thing, fell directly on to where he was sitting on the couch and shattered everywhere. I mean, there was like glass shooting at them and like everywhere. This is like the big family ghost story.
Oh my god.
And it happened in that house.
So it was happening multiple nights, or did it happen on one night?
This happened like
did she kept on, like, each night it kept on telling her, get him off the couch?
No, I think it was like, it just kept waking her up in that nap.
Oh my god.
That is
Yeah.
creepy.
Do you think it was just a coincidence, or do you think something actually, like, something spiritual happened?
She's not a very reliable narrator, but my uncle is. So, you know,
The
it's
one
hard
who,
to say.
The one who was on the couch.
Yeah, so he did move and the chandelier did fall, but do we know if there was actually somebody whispering in her ear?
But
Hard to say.
that's crazy coincidence, though.
Yeah.
That once he got up, it fell down.
Paranormal or coincidence, the fact that she came in there to wake him up to
Yeah.
move. Like,
even if it wasn't a ghost, like, it's still insane that she could do that.
that's still something going on there.
Yeah.
She had a power.
She had powers.
She had power. Future sight.
But only for chandeliers falling.
She did have a very strong energy. I don't know what it was about her. She has, like, I don't know. There was something about her.
Could you think it could have been the Catholic in her? The Catholicism?
You know, it really could have been. It could be.
Because I get that too. I only get that with very religious people.
I mean, her name was Mary and she was Catholic, so it's like,
Oh,
Oh.
you know?
that's why she had the mirror. It was herself in the mirror telling her to wake up.
Or it was Jesus.
Jesus himself.
Jesus himself.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, yo,
Hey.
hey, yo, ma.
In this world, Jesus is Italian. On religion, though, and I don't know if she's Christian or she's Catholic. My stepmom has a lot of things spiritually upset with her. Like, she swears that she has a ghost following her, and most of my hauntings that I've experienced personally has been at their house. Like, one time I was sleeping upstairs with my stepbrother and stepsister on the floor. I woke up, heard noises similar to your story with, like, the cabinets opening.
Yeah.
And I heard, I'm like, oh, it's my stepsister downstairs because her room was down there. I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. She shouldn't be coming up the stairs. I heard it, like, behind the couch. I was, like, hiding under my blanket. I kind of, like, looked, but there was no one there. The next morning, my stepbrother woke up covered in blood from head to toe. He had a nosebleed, apparently, but...
I was like, whose blood?
No, it was his. He had a nosebleed, apparently.
Okay.
But he didn't wake up.
But,
from
like,
it?
he didn't wake up from it. It was only him covered in blood. Nothing around him was covered in blood.
So was it, like, down his entire body?
It was his entire... Like, even some on his, like, facial area above the nose, too. Somehow.
But if you get a nosebleed and you're laying down, wouldn't it just go off the side? So would you have
That's
to
what
been
I would
standing
think,
up?
yeah.
I don't know. Like, it would, like it wasn't, like covered, but, like, his hands were covered in, like, blood. His, like, it was, like someone on his, like, clothes, on his face, not in the nose area. You would think... He is... I actually don't know if he's, like, a tosser turner, you know? Like, he could have just gone all over himself. But I don't think that he is. I think he's very still when he sleeps, usually.
Because if it wasn't on the sheets, then he wasn't tossing and turning.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because it was nowhere else. It wasn't on me. Because we were, like, all kind of, like... My sister was, like... I was in the middle. He was on my right. My sister was on my left.
Oh, you were all in the
Oh,
same
you're
bed?
together?
It was on the floor. We were on the floor,
Oh.
like, having a little night. And there was none on me. So, like, I, like, up... Like, I was, like, up against him.
Yeah.
None on me.
He was right next to you?
Yeah. And we were sharing a blanket, I think. I'm pretty sure we were sharing a blanket. So I don't know. But then, with my stepmom's ghost, when they moved to Oklahoma, we were visiting them one summer, and they swore there was some woman in their room, in, like, the master bedroom. And they said that she never left. She always stayed in there, and she would mess with their TV. Like, that she would change channels, turn it off, whatever. My stepmom said that she saw her in the bathroom one time. I was like, it's whatever. We have a ghost in every house, apparently. I'm like, I'm a little skeptical. It was me, my stepbrother, and my dad on my couch. It was a hallway and the couch, like, next to the wall, you know? So, like, a hallway and you'd pass the couch, you know?
Yeah.
And my sister was in the kitchen, and I saw a younger blonde girl walk past me. And I was like, hey, Callie, can you... And she's like, and then I hear, and I don't see her. I'm like, that was weird. And I hear her what from the kitchen, but she could not have gotten past me that fast without me, like, seeing her. So I, like, looked. So I was like, I think I saw your ghost. I'm like, does she have blonde hair? My stepmom's like, yup. I was like,
Oh my god.
cool. Love that for us.
Oh my god, you were the guy that was gaslighting her. You're crazy. You don't see real ghosts.
I was the villain.
Him.
Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
The ghost made you
Yeah.
realize that.
The ghost said, oh, you don't think I'm real? Well, let me show you something. Well,
Is she friends with the ghost?
she doesn't know them personally.
Does she hate the ghost?
No, I think at this point she's just, because she's had, even when she was younger, she had a lot of stories. I'm not going to retell them because I can barely remember them. Not my story to tell. I mean, she had a lot of stuff going on with her childhood and ghosts and a demon in her room or whatever. So we think that it's still the same one. It takes, like, different forms for wherever we go. But one night in the current house that they're in, I was over for like a night or two, and I went upstairs, and I've never gotten sleep paralysis in my life, except for this one time. So I didn't know what it was like. I was sleeping. I had a dream that I was on the couch downstairs, and I could feel, like, I woke up in, like, a jolt on the couch, and I could feel like I'm like, I need to get upstairs now. Like, I need to run. And I could feel like this like shadow person, like, through the window out back coming towards, like, glass sliding door. And I'm like, I need to run up the stairs because it's, like, the only thing that I could get to before it could get in the house, you know? So in the dream, I, like, run up, I get up the stairs in my bed, and I think as the door's opening, I'm in my bed, and I'm in my bed, but, like, I can't move, sleeping. Like, I'm trying to get on the blanket, like, trying to get away or whatever, but I'm in my bed, I can't move. And I'm also kind of awake at this point, and I can't move in my sleep either. Yeah. Like, I'm awake and I'm asleep at the same time. And then in the dream, I get dragged down the bed, like, halfway across the bed. I woke up and I was down the bed. Like, I was dragged down the bed. The blankets were ripped off me. Like, I was all over the place, right? Yeah. So I was like, I turned the light on. I stayed up for the rest of the night. I was like, I'm not going back to bed. So in the morning, I go downstairs. I tell my stepmom, I'm like, so here's my dream. And she's like, the entire time I told her, she got this look of fear in her eyes, pure terror. And she's like, I had similar dreams last night. She's like, I woke up, or actually, I was sleeping, and I started to, like, not be able to move, and, like, I heard noises and lights outside our backyard, and it was, like, the same as a sliding glass door, right? And she's like, I couldn't move, and I started to, like, choke, and, like, my heart was beating. Like, your dad had to, like, wake me up. He's like, I could not wake up. And I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, no thanks, actually.
It's like, we're not doing that.
Terrifying.
I have a sleep paralysis story, but nothing really scary happened. It happened multiple times. Like, I got sleep paralysis, and then I just heard, like, 50s sitcom TV. Like, it was, like, commentary, but it was, like, that like, the transatlantic accent, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was just, but there wasn't anything on, and I was completely alone.
No,
that just happened multiple times. And it was, like, I don't know, it felt like I wasn't connected to reality, because it was, like, so different. And I don't watch old TV either, so it's not something like I was dreaming about it.
Your sleep paralysis statement is some 50s narrator. But you've had this experience multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, are you just like numb to it at this point?
It's never been scary to me.
Never?
No, I don't know what it is. It happens and I'm like, damn, that's so crazy. And then oh, actually, the first time that the TV thing happened, I was really scared. Like, I don't know, there's something about not being able to move but hearing people talking around me. It was like, it was terrifying. But
now you're like, welcome back to the channel.
Yeah, like, what's on today?
Have you had sleep paralysis, Renee?
I have not. I don't want to. I've heard so many scary stories of sleep paralysis. I thought I was going to one day because I wasn't able to, like, move my hand. So then I just started violently shaking my leg while I was half asleep and to just get myself up. And it was actually moving. It wasn't like it felt like it was moving. It was actually moving. So maybe that could have happened if I just decided to ignore it and go back to sleep.
Have you seen that video? I think it's like someone who's just like spinning their leg in a circle. That's what I picture. If you're like, come at me, ghosts, come at me.
Half my body was trying to fight the ghost. The other half was sleeping.
You're like this, just arms sleeping, flopping like a fish.
Since you two are like pretty big on like scary stuff, very spooky stuff, have you seen like caught on camera videos? They're like ghost caught on camera, or like some cryptid caught on camera, Mothman, Bigfoot. Do you guys always believe those, or is there like certain ones you believe?
I always believe paranormal ones because I'm like, even though they're easier to fake, I think. Yeah. It's like, oh, the chair moved, a string. I always believe them for some reason. But it's harder for me to believe like the cryptid ones because I'm like, except Bigfoot. I fully believe in Bigfoot.
Fully believe in Bigfoot.
And Mothman's sexy. Putting this on here now, Mothman is sexy. What?
Sorry. Have you seen that thing? So when the Bigfoot picture was taken, supposedly, people have done research on this. When the Bigfoot thing was taken, the picture, you know, the classic one.
Yeah.
Furries had just started being a thing. Like, they had just been invented.
About that.
So it could have just been like a weird early fursuit.
Early spottings of furries.
And I honestly hope that Bigfoot is just an immortal furry. Like, I hope it's just some guy, you know?
Could you imagine being that person, like, oh, my fursuit was, like, people saw me in my fursuit, and then, like, 10 years later, it's just this big phenomenon.
But can you imagine being Bigfoot and someone told you inspired furries?
No, I mean, imagine, like, it was just some normal guy that went out into the middle of the woods with all their friends to be a furry.
Testing out their fursuit.
But, like, it was a secret so they could never tell anyone.
Yeah.
So they had to take it to their grave. Like, I was Bigfoot, but no one can ever know.
It's Bigfoot. I mean, at this point, if they're still alive at this point, we got furry cons going on.
Show yourself.
So
don't be shy with it.
Come in the Bigfoot.
Be proud of it.
The vintage original suit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Be in that Bigfooty.
You know how expensive that'll be now? The vintage original Bigfoot furry costume.
When we get sponsors, I want all of the money to go to a fursuit of Bigfoot.
I would want one to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Ew.
The original design. The skater one.
He scared me. Did he scare you guys?
He did. He was so scary. But back to the topic of caught on cameras. Before we start talking about Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, what about you, Chaos? Do you believe in them?
I only believe the ones that are made by people who don't believe in ghosts. You know, like the ones that are the people that are like, there's no way that this was a ghost. I don't believe in it. I've never believed in it. But this was kind of weird, you know? I like those ones. But ones where it's like, I don't know, some crazy, like, long story about the explanation. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, we're joined by a special guest. Little puppy.
There are puppies everywhere.
It's okay.
There's an onion over here.
Don't eat the onion.
Onions are poisonous to dogs.
Hey, cutie.
Wait, kick the onion away from
Are
the
they really?
dogs. Yeah.
Oh, don't touch the onion.
We decided to go in the playground.
This is the place where they got those pictures of, like, you know those, like, orb ghosts where it's, like, the weird lights?
Yeah.
This is where they got that.
I have an orb story.
Ooh,
If you'd like to hear.
of course.
Me and my family we were really big campers. So we went up to camping up in like Payson, I think, and we were all sitting out by the fire. And my aunt's friend, her kids and their dog were in the tent sleeping because they were really young. And I was sitting in my cousin's lap, and the friend whose kid was in the tent was taking pictures of us, all of us like by the fire, and there was like an orb in the back, right? It was just one. We're like, oh, weird. That's cool. It's like a spirit or a ghost or a speck of dust, you know?
Yeah.
She started taking more and more. Every time there was more and more orbs, every single time, like all around us, thousands of them, so many. Like towards like it's not dust, it's not bugs, it's like
Yeah.
And it was weird. And I was looking at the tent where they were sleeping in, and I saw, I got like a noise walk behind it, and I saw like their dog like walk around it, and I'm like, I asked my cousin like, hey, where's Pinky? And she's like, in the tent sleeping. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I checked it. I checked them myself when I was over there. I'm like, I just saw a dog or something walk around the tent. And they went over, like my cousin like got up and like looked, and there was nothing over there. The dog was still in the tent. I was like, that's creepy. Oh.
Camping is the place to have ghost stories.
Oh, absolutely. It's a place to share them too around the campfire. Yeah. Oh.
I love camping though, still. I mean, I think it's like one of the scariest things that can happen. Like all of the terrible things that happen to people is when they go camping.
Absolutely. You hear screaming. The woods is so scary.
Yeah.
So many people and things die out there.
I mean, that's where people get murdered.
Bigfoot's out there. That furry.
Oh.
Bigfoot the furry.
Hey, King. So, when I was a kid, going back to the shadow people thing, I would see, I call him the Birdman. And I don't know, no one ever said anything to me. It's just something that I like made up. Because he was like, the shape of him was like those plague doctor masks, you know, like the long shape. And he kind of cast a shadow on the ceiling also with like that shape. But he just kind of lurked. Like he never moved, but I felt like he was staring at me. I don't know, it was like a staring contest situation. Like we were just looking at each other, and then, I don't know, I guess until I fell asleep. I don't remember I don't know. It was weird. I never told anyone about it because it was just so like surreal, but it wasn't something like I didn't feel like it was enough to like talk about, you know? Like it wasn't scary enough. So years and years go by, and I get on the subject of like ghost stories with my sister, and I tell her about the Birdman, and she gets kind of pale, kind of scared, and she says that the exact same thing happened to her in her room, and she also called him the Birdman. And we looked it up, and apparently it's like a figure, like it's like a real thing. Like a shadow man.
Is it also called the Birdman?
Yeah, and it's like a similar shape, like it's like a real phenomenon that happens to other people. So it wasn't even like a house haunting, like a local. I don't see shadow people anymore. It was just when I was a kid. When I was in a car as a kid, I always felt like I was being followed. Did that happen to you? Like you felt like you were being watched, or like there was someone?
Yeah, the moon and the sun.
The clouds.
Poetic.
I mean, sometimes it, like you get that moment where like you're driving and you look in the rearview mirror and just expect someone to be back there in your backseat staring at you.
Yeah.
You get that kind of feeling, but I've never seen anybody back there. I would.
So, how are we feeling? How are we feeling right now? Are we feeling any chills? Do we feel like we're being watched right now?
I'm feeling chills in the sense that it is really cold.
I was the same thing.
My hand is getting stiff.
We've been here for like 2 hours now?
Roughly, yeah.
You guys have any other things to say? Any scary events? Any emotions you feel? Any possessions you feel?
If by possession you mean manic episodes or dissociation, yeah.
I feel that second one. And that first one.
Thank you.
I support you.
Thank you.
Maybe the real demons.
Was the friends we made along the way.
The friends we made along the way.
Well, actually, you know what was scary that happened tonight? That cult meeting.
Oh, yeah.
They had a banner and everything. What was that? Like,
So
it was only men. Sorry, go ahead.
Context. When we came to this park, we saw a banner underneath a, what's it called? A gazebo?
Ramada?
A ramada? Those roof with tables under it. There was a banner there, and it had like a diamond on it and 4 letters. We didn't know what it was. We assumed it was a cult. Pretty sure it was a cult.
But it was also all middle-aged white men. I assume dads.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a whole symbol, though. It was like a diamond, and it was like in a circle, and it was huge.
Middle-aged meetup?
Middle-aged meetup. Oh.
Singles ready to mingle. My roommate in college went on a first date from someone on Bumble, and they went hiking on the first date. And I was like, I'm calling you at this specific time, and if you don't answer, I'm calling the police. And she didn't answer, and I called the police. And she was like, I didn't have reception because I was hiking. And I was like, oh.
My friend, she likes to go out with men she meets on the internet. And one time she was like driving, and I saw her, like, I checked her emoji, you know, because she's trans, so I'm like kind of more protective over her, even more so, you know.
Yeah.
Like men are scary.
Exactly.
And I saw this bitch in the middle of the desert on Bitmoji. I'm like, text me now. I text her, I'm like, you better. I mean, if you don't answer by 10, I'm like coming down there and I'm finding you. And then she finally got back to me. I'm like, are you alive? And I like asked her like a question like only she would know. Like, okay, we're good. She's like, we just hung out in his semi truck. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about, semi truck?
Whoa.
She's like, he's just a truck driver. I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna get murdered one day, and I'm gonna have to murder someone else.
I'm waking up a lot in the middle of the night. So, prime time to see ghosts when you're half awake.
Speaking of waking up in the middle of the night, I've heard it's like a thing. If you wake up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., it's like you're being watched by something.
That's a perfectly timed scream.
I think she was being watched by something.
Not a paid actor.
Not clickbait.
No, but I've also heard that though. I've heard the like 3 a.m. Someone staring at you saying, I often wake up at 3 a.m. ish.
It's the witching hour, right?
It is, yeah. It's the most paranormally time.
Do you believe in that? Do you guys believe in that?
Absolutely.
The witching hour?
Yeah. Or you think it's just like something people made up?
I think that the period of 2 a.m. to like 6 a.m. are inherently evil. I don't know if it's like a paranormal thing, but I don't think anything good happens in that time. You know? Like, I think those are the times when the worst things happen. Or like the ratio of good things to bad things is off.
Oh, but that's like 1:30 to like 2ish is when I start hearing things at work. Like, I don't like to go into the main area around those times unless I have like lights on.
Sorry. I feel like working a night shift is like where all this horror stories come from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like for ghosts, this like most dangerous thing.
I feel like it's just like, I think it's just you've been up way too long, so your mind starts getting all weird and imagining all these things happening. Because a lot of times whenever anyone explains like, oh, scary stuff happens past midnight, like, why is it always past midnight?
Because you're tired.
Because you're tired. It's never during the daytime or like 10 p.m.
And your sight isn't as good in the dark. And like I've heard like this whole thing, I haven't done research into it, so I don't know. But like you can see better out of the corner of your eyes than in the front. So when you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, it's just like, it's something that's there but you can't, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, no, I didn't have a way to end that sentence.
Like, it's there, but it's not there.
No, it's like, I don't know how to say it.
So if you see someone stand in front of you, you should just turn your head. And if you still see them, then they're actually there.
Seeing things differently out of the corner of your eye.
So, what's the takeaway of today? Chaos. What's your takeaway of visiting this haunted park?
People should really put their dogs on leashes.
She's just a shy girl. And you can't stop her from being that. Thank you.
She's just quirky.
Terrifying.
As always, thank you for watching Two Guys, 5 Feet Apart, watching podcast. Thank you so much for Chaos for joining us for the special episode.
Thank you for inviting me.
Where can you find you, Chaos? You have any social medias? Anything you want to shout out?
You can find me on my 5 Titans fan accounts. You can find me on AO3. You can find me at Emily's Soup Store on MySpace. If you say the word queer 3 times while looking in a mirror, I might show up if I'm in the mood. It's really about manifesting. You know, it's about the thought.
It's the thought that counts.
Exactly.
Casper, any last words to give anyone ghost hunting?
What are your last words?
Am I dying? To give ghost hunting?
Any words to give to the people who want to go ghost hunting?
Let me see this. Do not anger the spirits. If you're gonna go ghost hunting, enjoy your time. Bring a camera. Don't make shit up.
Make sure to bring the Stranger Things themed Ouija board as well.
And some black spray paint and some candles. And have a good night, y'all.
Bring your pals. It's about the friends you make along the way. That might be a ghost.
Yeah, it's never about the ghost. It's about the friends. It's about the experience.
Demons can't hurt you if you had the power of friendship.
The power of love.
Power of love. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week as we have another podcast, maybe with a new guest, maybe not,
Maybe just one host.
maybe just one host.
I call her a shy girl. The lights turned off. I think she's real.
Or she might be, she's just a manic pixie dream girl, you know?
She's a bit quirky at night.